Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Sterling Heights City Council to order. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them courage and wisdom to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen.
All right, thank you. Ms. Riska, can we please have the roll call?
Mayor Taylor?
Here.
Mrs. Sarowski?
Here.
Mrs. Koski?
Present.
Mr. Radke?
Here.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Present.
Mr. Yanis?
Here.
Mrs. Yarko?
Present.
Thank you, Council. We need approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski.
move to approve the agenda.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs. Schmidt.
I'd like to pull item Q from the consent agenda and make it 8B, please.
Okay, we will take item Q from the consent agenda and make it consideration item 8B. Anyone else, council? No further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item up on our agenda is a report from our city manager, Mark Vanderpool. Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a number of items this evening, but let me begin with all the events going on in April regarding community cleanup. First, the Sterling Heights Shred Day will be April 9th, so next Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the DPW facility. So you can bring up to 3 banker boxes, if you will, to the DPW facility, have them shredded on site at no charge, and this is for residents only, so you have to have an ID. But this is a very popular event. It's this Saturday, and so if you have items you want to clean out of your house, please keep the date in mind. And then the following Saturday, or I should say April 23rd, the annual hazardous household waste event will be held again at the DPW facility, again from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And for this event, you can bring acceptable household hazardous materials and drop them off at the DPW facility. So you can go to our website to see what all those materials are. But again, that event is also very popular for residents only also. And then on April 30th, we will have the electronic collection event, again, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the DPW facility. So you can bring old TVs, computers, other electronic devices, and so on, drop them off at DPW. So again, this is a way to clean out your basements or rooms and get things in order for cleaning up the outside. And that brings me to the next item. On May 14th and the 21st, again, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our DPW facility. By the way, when you drive up to the DPW facility, you're going to love it. It's brand new, state-of-the-art, and it's nearing the finish line. But the cleanup Saturdays, again, May 14th and 21st, you can bring items like furniture, lumber, tires, dirt, tree stumps, etc., and dispose of them. So everything you might have had to collect from the fall and over the winter, now you can get rid of it on those days. And also a reminder to the community, I reported on this at the last meeting, but we have our Spring Shine Day. Shine stands for the Sterling Heights Initiative for Neighborhood Excellence. That's going to be on May 7th from 9:30 a.m. to, it's normally mid-afternoon. The volunteers meet at First Church on DeQuinder Road. And we have about 100 volunteers that go out and clean up about 30 homes, raking leaves and trimming shrubbery and weed whacking and the like for individuals who simply are not able to do it, elderly individuals or those with mobility limitations. So if you have an interest in volunteering, it's actually a really fun program. That is on May 7th. And for those of you who might have forgotten, yard waste collection started yesterday. So you can set your yard waste collection out now. So a lot going on to clean up the community in April and May. And that leads me to our tree planting program, because it's never too early to think about tree planting. DPW department, again, is offering trees at a discounted rate of $260. You can order your trees now, and then they'll be planted after the first frost. So we look forward to that program being implemented once again. That too is popular, and we're doing all that we can to increase the tree canopy throughout the city, including the rights-of-way. We're going to be talking more about trees over the next couple of meetings, so stay tuned. And Mayor, at the conclusion of tonight's agenda, I'm requesting that the City Council convene a closed session pursuant to Section 8D of the Open Meetings Act to discuss a potential purchase or lease of real property. And I have just two more items, and if you don't mind, at this time, I'd like to introduce our Parks and Recreation Director, Kyle Langloy, who would like to talk about a job fair that's coming up.
Mr. Langley.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Taylor, members of council, and all gathered here tonight. I am excited to talk about a hiring fair that we're going to be having tomorrow. But as most everyone has probably heard by now, the United States is experiencing a labor shortage, which has been trending since the COVID-19 pandemic last March, March 2020. Unfortunately, we have not been exempt from that trend here in Sterling Heights, and in some cases, we've hit a critical point where some of our department operations are being negatively impacted. This rings true especially for positions that may be thought to be less enjoyable, like park monitors, also for positions that may require certain skill set or special personality, like those positions that support adaptive recreation programs. Over the past couple of years, the department has attempted various means to recruit part-time employees, and I'm here today to quickly highlight our newest method, which is hosting a part-time employee hiring fair at the community center. I don't know if we have the graphic or not, but we will be having our hiring fair taking place tomorrow evening, April 6th, from 4 to 8 p.m., again at the community center. A number of our supervisory staff will be on site to talk with prospective employees, answer job-specific questions, and for the first time ever, even conduct on-the-spot interviews for those interested in making a positive impact in our community. Some positions will be able to start as quickly as we can process a background check and as quickly as we can get paperwork processed through our Human Resources Department. And they are well aware and prepared to help us navigate through that very quickly. The department currently has a variety of positions available for those ages 14 and older. In addition to being a fun atmosphere to work in, employees in the Parks and Recreation Department get to work alongside 200 great employees with many close friendships being forged along the way. Aside from those benefits, we've also implemented higher wages, Sunday and holiday premium pay, discounts on fitness classes, as well as new hire and employee referral bonuses and incentive programs. In an effort to stay competitive, we also expect rolling out more incentives over the next year or two. Getting back to tomorrow, don't need to come prepared with anything but yourself. Blank applications will be available to complete. And as always, important to note, we will have light refreshments for those who are participating in our hiring fair. We look forward to meeting and talking to any prospective employees for our department. And who knows, maybe it will be one of those employees that will be standing up here in the future, accepting a employee recognition award in front of all of us in the future again. So thank you for allowing me the time to highlight this initiative, and we appreciate everybody coming out tomorrow to the community center. Thank you.
And Mayor, for the last item on my report, I wanted to draw attention to one of the most important elections in the city's history. And this happened 152 years ago. I want to draw attention to the screen. 152 years ago today, the Detroit Free Press, I didn't realize a Free Press was around then, but it was, announced the results of the April 4th, 1870 election in Sterling Township, which of course now is the city of Sterling Heights. The article, because you can't read it here, I'm going to include parts of it and summarize it briefly. The article read, "The election passed quietly in the township of Sterling, Macomb County, yesterday. Owing to the condition of roads, a light vote was polled. Out of 300 names registered, 206 voted." So I think that's just over 70%. 3 citizens newly enabled due to the 15th Amendment voted. Interestingly, it is interesting that a century and a half ago, election turnout in Michigan was contingent on road conditions. No surprise. But at least the carriage drivers didn't have to worry about the high price of gas, that's for sure. But that's not why I'm bringing the attention to this news story. In fact, what was unique about this election is that it was held just 2 months after the passing of the 15th Amendment. This was the first election in which African American citizens could vote. Based on the census data of the period, the 1870 election saw a 100% voter turnout from African Americans in Sterling. One of these notable electors was an elderly man named Charles Russell. Mr. Russell was born in 1794 in a southern slave state. He was 69 years old by the issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation. He was 74 years old before he was a legal American citizen, and he cast his very first ballot at the age of 76. Mr. Russell was finally provided the right to shape the leadership that governed him after all those years. We'll be working with the city's African American Coalition and also our Historical Commission to determine how best to honor this historical moment in our community's history. It would really be fascinating to track down Mr. Russell's descendants, seeking their involvement in special recognition of this momentous milestone in our city's history. And I want to provide a special shout out to our city's expert historian, Michael Lambardini, for providing this background information. So I thought, Mayor and Council, you'd be interested. I know you've seen this information recently. I thought the community would appreciate knowing it as well. It really is a remarkable factoid. And Mayor, that concludes my report this evening.
All right, thank you very much. We should have you present something like that at the end of every council manager's report, something interesting like that. So we'll see what you have next time. All right, thank you. Very interesting indeed. So the next item on our agenda is a presentation, and this is a presentation of the Employee and Department/Office Awards for the 2021 year. There are going to be presentations from our Community Relations Director, Melanie Davis, and our Human Resources and Benefits Manager, Kate Baldwin. Ms. Baldwin.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, Honorable City Council, Mr. Koszybski, and Mr. Vanderpool. We are excited to host our Employee Awards ceremony before you all. We're thrilled to be here tonight to announce and celebrate employees receiving 2021 Employee Recognition Awards. So we sincerely thank you for this opportunity. On the itinerary for the Employee Recognition Ceremony, we will first feature the Years of Service Awards. We'll then transition into departmental awards, where we will invite department directors and leaders to announce and present the honorees. We'll announce the Part-Time Employee of the Year, Outstanding Performance of the Year, Full-Time Employee of the Year, Administrator of the Year, and Office/Administrator of the Year, or Office/Department of the Year. After all awards are presented and photos are taken with the honorees department director, we'll invite City Council to come down from the stage and stand for a group shot with all honorees. With me tonight is Melanie Davis, our Community Relations Director, who will be helping MC tonight's ceremony.
Thank you, Kate. So let's get things started with our Years of Service Awards. A list of all their names and milestone anniversaries will appear on the screen as we announce all of the recipients. Starting with 10-year service awards, this year we are recognizing Michael Facemeyer, police officer, Christine Panu, library page, Eric Skirta, DPW operations manager, Marlene Wallace, Parks and Recreation bus driver, Thomas Washburn II, a crossing guard. And receiving 20-year service awards this year are Natalie Abram, police officer, Thomas Bell, crossing guard, Jackie Calhoun, police officer, Craig Cole, police sergeant, Pete DeVuno, DPW inspector, Jamie Dubé, police sergeant, Jacqueline Geldof, senior account clerk, Christopher Gristle, lead facilities maintenance mechanic, Jason Hakeem, police sergeant, Diana Hishon, deputy court clerk, Michelle Kitchen, police officer, Renee Kungle, administrative assistant, Jason Majeski, police sergeant, David Ormachea, police lieutenant, David Pressel, fire captain, David Todd Jr., police officer, Patrick Willis, code enforcement officer, and Daniel Zender, fire captain.
And receiving 25-year service awards this year are Janice Allen, crossing guard, Salvatore Grammatico, police sergeant, Stephen Kohut, fire chief of training, Janice Kukluk, library page, Eric LaRue, police sergeant, Marie Marsh, management assistant, Kenneth Pappas, police captain, David Paquette, DPW equipment operator B, Andrew Pollock, police officer, Michael Piatek, 41A District Court magistrate, David Sarvello, police lieutenant, Joseph Skane, fire captain, Randall Shippey, police officer, Kirk Swenson, police sergeant, and Jeffrey Vergowen, fire department battalion chief. And receiving 40-year service awards this year is Rosemary Tutt, crossing guard. Let's give these years of service recipients a warm round of applause.
Thank you. And now we move on to the departmental awards. For the first departmental award, we invite Tammy Turgeon, our Public Library Director, to come and announce the recipient of the Sterling Heights Public Library Departmental Award.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, City Council, Mr. Vanderpool, and residents. Tonight, on behalf of the Sterling Heights Public Library Board, I would like to recognize Loa Forett. Loa has been a city employee for over 16 years, and she has been on the library staff for almost 13 of those years, working as the management assistant for the library and now as the circulation supervisor. Loa is a wonderful employee. She's organized, which is critical to the library. She has good ideas when trying to come up with solutions to problems or when we're brainstorming on trying something new. She works well with the public, who regularly provide me with positive feedback about the service they receive from her and her staff, and she's always willing to jump in to help her fellow staff members when needed. Loa easily connects with our patrons and works with the entire circulation staff to provide a fun, collegial atmosphere while also providing excellent customer service to our patrons. During the pandemic, her leadership in the circulation department was instrumental in developing our excellent curbside service. At its heightened usage, she and the library staff were serving over 2,800 patrons a month. It was a built-in exercise plan, rain or shine. Loa is a great employee and supervisor. We're lucky to have her working for us at the Sterling Heights Public Library. Congratulations, Loa, on being named the 2021 Library Employee of the Year.
And now we have Kyle Langlois, our Parks and Rec Director, who will announce recipients of the Parks and Recreation Departmental Awards.
All right, thank you, Melanie, and good evening again, Mayor Taylor and members of council, and all gathered here tonight. As you just heard in my previous presentation, Parks and Recreation Department has grown substantially and now carries close to 200 part-time employees on our payroll in a given year. While I can say that we are fortunate to have great employees that support our operations and help us to provide top-level programming, we are truly blessed to have some employees that continually go above and beyond. And that is where I will start today, as I recognize a collection of 4 young women that make up our Sterling Stars dance instructor team. For over 50 years now, the mission of the Sterling Stars dance program is to provide a dance studio level program without all the negative drama that is often associated and at a much more affordable price. Since I personally had the honor of supervising the dance program for years, I can confidently say that it is the talent and dedication of our instructors, Jennifer Kramer, Christina McCabe, Olivia Jordan, and Maria Slagle, that continue to make this mission a reality today. A fun fact, too, and she's not here to laugh about it, but Jennifer Kramer was the first part-time employee that I met when I started with the department 17 years ago in 2005, almost 17 years ago, so that is some loyalty and dedication right there. And she stuck with it, even knowing me that long. So, but while I know that so many children and adults in our community have been positively impacted by the dance instructors throughout the years, these four have truly been stars for our department, especially the past couple of years. As the city and our department navigated through the uncertain times of the pandemic, our dance instructors showed grace, compassion, and flexibility to try and make sure the dance program remained relevant. After many years of waiting for the new community center to open with state-of-the-art dance facilities, our excitement quickly changed to disappointment when we had to shut down, and coupled with the fact that we had our first dance recital ever to be canceled, times, of course, were not great. The instructors fielded many phone calls. They reached out to dancers and parents to check their well-being, and certainly consoled those graduating seniors that had their senior solo moments taken away unexpectedly from them. The instructors even went as far as creating an inspirational end-of-the-year video message that was sent out to all the dancers. From that time, the instructors saw classes go from Zoom to in-person, back to Zoom as needed, outdoors on the amphitheater stage until it was almost too cold for anybody to bear, but they never wavered. They creatively planned for a non-traditional set of costumes for the 2021 dance recital, ensuring that our parents wouldn't have to unnecessarily buy costumes again for a canceled recital, which fortunately we didn't have to cancel, as they were instrumental in helping us to put on our first ever dance recital on the amphitheater stage in May of 2021. All of this was with a smile and 100% effort, even while juggling their personal lives, which I believe is most impressive. In closing, their now direct supervisor, Bobby Wilson, summed up their nomination and description best, saying that Miss Jen, Miss Christina, Miss Olivia, and Miss Maria all possess the qualities everyone should be seeking in their part-time staff members: dedication, commitment, problem-solving skills, care of our product presentation, care for our participants and their families, and flexibility. It is for these reasons and so much more that these employees are very deserving of the Parks and Recreation Department's Part-Time Employee of the Year. Congratulations, ladies. I do know that we do have some words from one of our dance instructors who couldn't be here tonight, so.
I wish I could have been here in person to receive this award. It means the world to me. I want to thank Bobby for nominating us and seeing the value in the Sterling Stars dance program. I started dancing in this program at age 6, then was asked to teach the beginner students when I turned 16. I truly thought it would be an awesome part-time job that would last until I went to college, start a real career, got married, or started a family. Little did I know when I started, I'd be here 26 years later. Our dance program is much more than another dance studio on the corner. Our dance program isn't about being the best dancer, the most flexible, or having a dancer's body. As instructors, we teach our dancers so much more. Over the years, I've watched so many dancers grow, become more confident, create lifelong friendships, and feel like a star. I've been there to share their joys, dry their tears, listen to them, give them advice, or just be a place that they can escape from their everyday troubles. I'd like to thank my family for their love and support over these years. A dance teacher's job goes far beyond the class. We spend countless hours at home picking out and cutting music, choosing costumes, and choreographing numbers. I've also had the privilege over the past 13 years of watching my own daughter learn, grow, and develop friendships in this program. This program's been around for 51 years, touching dancers' lives, and I hope it can be around for 50 more, making an impact on young dancers. Thank you for this award and for this acknowledgement of this wonderful program we have here in our city. Thank you.
Certainly couldn't have said it better myself, which is why I wasn't the one who said it. So, but grateful for our part-time employees, especially these young ladies here tonight. So, it's also my honor to be here this evening to celebrate a full-time employee that has been instrumental in the expansion and evolution of the Parks and Recreation Department over the past many years. And this most recent year was no exception. Karen Odo is our longest tenured department employee and has worked in various capacities at both the original Recreation Center in Dodge Park and more recently in the Senior Center. What has made Karen so valuable over the years is her ability to adapt to the many changes that have taken place. During her time with our department, she has seen our department staff change over completely, has seen the department be significantly downsized through the recession, and watched us grow back to what we are today. And to her testament, she never ran away screaming and never transferred to another department. Rather, she embraced the change and figured out ways to adapt in order to best support the department, proving her loyalty to doing what she enjoyed, or at least what she said she enjoyed. Karen has stepped up over the years to work in any capacity asked, whether it was being Miss Scarecrow at our Halloween event, making hundreds of gallons of hot chocolate for Sterling Christmas, or working in Utica Road to direct buses and keep people safe at Sterling Fest. I knew that no matter what I asked of Karen, I could always count on a yes for her to do it, and with a smile on her face. Over the recent couple of years, Karen has also been instrumental in assisting with one of the newest and most intricate initiatives at the Senior Center in our history, and that was the implementation of annual memberships. For decades, staff has been saddled with collecting and counting thousands of quarters, buttons, and I'm sure plenty of other miscellaneous objects. Knowing that this change to memberships was necessary, Karen spent countless hours navigating our registration software and devising the proper process to lead us through this transformational initiative. In closing, while the celebration of Karen today is fitting for what she has meant to the department over her many years of service, and especially through the last couple of years, with all the change, it is also bittersweet as she is planning to retire in less than a handful of months from our department. So Karen, thank you for your years of dedication, for being someone who would always speak your mind without sugarcoating, for selflessly training dozens of new full-time and part-time employees, and for standing loyally by our department through some very challenging and wild times. It is again for all these reasons that I have noted, and so much more, that you are deserving of the Parks and Recreation Department's Full-Time Employee of the Year.
I don't have a speech, but I have to say that I've had a wonderful time in the last 22 years. I've always loved my job. We have had some wild times over those 20-plus years. I watched Kyle come as a brand-new employee when he used to come and ask me, what do I do next with this or that? And then he became my director, but I've always loved my job and loved working for the city. And thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have DPW Water Supervisor Jim Nichols and DPW Fleet Supervisor Nick Kolaz to announce recipients of the DPW's departmental awards.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Taylor, Mr. Vanderpool, Mr. Koszupski. Thank you for having us here tonight to honor our great employees here at the City of Sterling Heights. My name is Nick Kolaz. I'm with the Sterling Heights Fleet Maintenance Division over at the DPW. I'm here to talk about Harry Ellison tonight. Harry Ellison started working for the DPW 9 years ago after he retired from Ford Motor Company after working there for 37 years. For the last 3 years, Harry Ellison has been our parts runner over in the Fleet Maintenance Division. And if you know anything about the current state of vehicle repair right now, getting parts is really, really difficult. It's hard to stock parts. It's hard to keep parts around. Manufacturing parts is really slim, and Harry does a great job finding and tracking those parts down for us. Whether he's driving through a snowstorm to get a drive shaft for a snowplow truck, or he's searching all over Metro Detroit for a electrical switch for a fire truck, Harry Ellison is the right person to have in our division. I always ask Harry at the end of each day, Harry, how did today go? And Harry's always like, today was awesome. It was busy, busy, busy. It was nonstop. And I think that's a real good sign of his character about who he is and what he really likes to do and how he enjoys working at the city of Sterling Heights. But as good as Harry is as an employee, he's even a better person. With his infectious smile in the morning meetings or his stories about Ford back in the day, Harry is truly a pleasure to have as a member of our team. So with that being said, I'd like to congratulate Harry Ellison as being the 2021 DPW Part-Time Employee of the Year.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Taylor, Mr. Vanderpool. On behalf of Public Works, I'd like to congratulate Jeff Steinmetz on the 2022 Full-Time Employee of the Year. Jeff's been with the city of Sterling Heights since '07. He hired into Parks and Grounds as a general laborer. In 2016, he moved to the Water Division as a water service worker. Jeff spends his free time mountain biking, hunting, bird watching, photographing wildlife, backpacking, and chasing around his German Shorthairs. I always send Jeff pictures of birds, and I haven't stumped him yet. 2 seconds, he knows exactly what it is. So, Jeff's an employee that younger staff members can look up to and model themselves after. I know this because I was once that new employee that was paired up with Jeff. Parks and Grounds, we ran a grass crew together, and he was fantastic to work with. He taught me a ton. He's got a really interesting way to just get work done and keep it light and fun at the same time. So when I got the Water Division job, Jeff was top of the list for employees we wanted as part of the team. He's a great combination of mechanical ability, problem-solving skills, and a cool, calm level-headedness that's hard to find today. This past year has been about the most stressful in memory for Water Division staff. The meter replacement program and the Innovate Mound project, our workload's never been heavier. That's where a guy like Jeff is indispensable. He's our eyes and ears on Mound Road. He's installing meters in houses, often in the same day. He's answering the phone at 2 in the morning for a water main break. So he's always there, same calm, cool Jeff. Just makes, the day go by faster working with him. So with that, I'd like to congratulate Jeff Steinmetz on the 22 Public Works Full-Time Employee of the Year.
Now I'd like to invite to the podium Fire Chief Kevin Edmond, who will announce this year's award recipients for the fire department.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Vanderpool and Mr. Koszewski. Over this last year, I've witnessed the fine work of the members of the fire department and what they've gone through during this pandemic. They've helped vaccinate the community. They took care of people that had COVID. They staffed the fire stations when we were down due to COVID illnesses and also retirements. So it's my honor to be able to give 2 awards tonight, one for Firefighter of the Year and one for Fire Officer of the Year. The first award goes to Corey Sinaskis. Corey is the senior firefighter on the department. He demonstrates the image of a firefighter, always helping the community. Year after year, Corey has been a top-tier paramedic, firefighter, mentor, and leader in leading through examples to others. From the beginning of Corey's career, he has performed at a very high level, many times beyond his years of service. Corey continues to seek opportunities to better himself and the department through training and education. Corey uses his knowledge to ensure new firefighters obtain the knowledge that they need. He also works hand in hand with the paramedic interns that come in to make sure that the community has the finest EMS service available in just not Sterling Heights, but Macomb County. It's my honor to present Corey with Firefighter of the Year. Corey could not be here because he's on vacation tonight, and we do have a video of his acceptance.
Good evening. My name is Corey Sanauskas, and I am your Sterling Heights Firefighter of the Year. I am extremely humbled and honored to accept the nomination for Firefighter of the Year. 6 years ago, I stood in front of City Council, and I promised City Council, the city's residents, and the fire department that I would serve the city to the best of my ability throughout my career, and I promise to continue doing so throughout the remainder of my career. I want to say thank you to my brothers and sisters and the family I inherited here at the Sterling Heights Fire Department. It has been an honor to serve next to you, and I look forward to the remainder of my future.
The second award, because we're expanding this year, goes to a Fire Officer of the Year, Steve Kohut. Steve is the Chief of Training and has set a high standard for future training officers in the Sterling Heights Fire Department. During the past year, Steve's dedication to the community was always present. He was always willing to lend a hand at the vaccination centers to vaccinate the community. He has been committed to increasing the knowledge of our department, the officers and firefighters, to make sure they're well prepared for the challenges that they'll face in the future. He was influential in researching and budgeting and implementing our new live fire training program that we unveiled earlier this year. He's a graduate of Eastern Michigan University's Fire and Staff and Command Training. During his time in the command training, he undertook a research project to be able to take firefighters to officers, and we're now implementing some of that fruits of his labor that he did through the research project. So I'm honored to present Steve Kohut with Fire Officer of the Year. Unfortunately, Steve had prior family commitments that enabled him to do the video or to be here tonight. So I'd like to give a round of applause to Steve. Thank you.
And last up for the departmental awards, I would like to bring up to the podium Police Chief Dale Dwadzikowski, and he is going to announce the awards for the departmental awards for the police department for this year.
Thank you, Melanie. I have 4 awards to announce tonight: our Police Officer of the Year for 2021, our Command Officer of the Year, our Detective of the Year, and Civilian Employee. And with that, I'll start with our Police Officer of the Year. With 20 years of service, Officer Remy Verstraete, yes, the name is very difficult to say, it's Verstraete, has been many years as a senior officer in our department, spending many of those years as a traffic investigator and a reconstructionist. I'm fortunate to say I worked with Remy for many years as the traffic lieutenant. I've seen Remy firsthand on many, many fatal accidents and reconstructions. And also projects. Remy was instrumental in developing our electronic ticket program, electronic crash program. Any project, software, anything that was broken in the department, Remy fixed it. That's what he did for many, many years, and I've seen that firsthand. Remy's also been a field training officer for 11 years. If you don't know what that is, when our brand new officers start, they spend 17 weeks with a senior officer. That senior officer shows them every single thing there is to know about Sterling Heights, every policy, procedure, and what it takes to be an awesome police officer, and Remy is one of the best. He's a founding member of the department's tactical team since its inception in 2008. Even attaining certification as an explosive breacher and munitions expert. Yes, he blows stuff up. He knows how to handle explosives and munitions. And this is one of the few guys I would trust with explosives. Remy has served in the department's Honor Guard unit since 2005 and done many events with the unit and volunteer events. Remy has tackled, like I said before, countless software, hardware projects over the years and is considered the go-to person when something needs to be fixed. Thank you, Remy, for your years of service and countless programs that you've been responsible for over the years. You're a senior officer that so many officers look up to. And even more importantly, if you don't know this about Remy, he is one of the greatest dads and family guys you will ever meet. His wife, his kids, truly a family guy that goes well beyond work, and I envy him for that. He is a dad. He is a really good dad, and you should be very proud of that. I appreciate everything you've done, Remy, and look forward to all the work you're going to be doing in the future. With that, Officer of the Year, Officer Remy Verstraete.
I just wanted to say thank you. Many kind words being said about me. I don't know if they're all deserved or not, but I do try to do my best. As my fire counterpart said, over 19 years ago, almost 20 years ago now, I took an oath to serve the citizens of this community, and I'm just trying to do the best I can every single day. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our department's command officer there, Captain Ken Pappas, another guy who was smart and got out of town for spring break, so I envy him for that. Ken has been with us for 23 years. Ken handles all the department's budget issues, which is immense. We have, as you know, the largest budget in the entire city, and there is a lot of budgeting to do in our police department, and Ken has been the best, and I can say that because I did that job, and he was better than me at it, and he is better than me at it. Ken also serves as the department accreditation manager, and as you know, the department became accredited last year. Ken was the accreditation manager. He was the guy that got it done, got all of our policies and procedures rewritten, had to submit everything to the state of Michigan, and we did it. 2-year project, and we became accredited, one of the few in the state. Ken oversaw our immense building renovation project, which spanned multiple years from start to finish. He did every single day. Cabinets needed to be moved. He was even painting the garage one day because they had to put some stuff back. He did it all. If there was a deadline, it had to be done. Ken showed up and he did it. He's also volunteered for many other projects. Just recently, our yearbook committee, we're having our first ever department yearbook, which is a complete history of the Sterling Heights Police Department, all of our units and bureaus and pictures. First time we've ever done that. Ken took up that project. We're finally almost done. Just recently redoing our entire workout room, putting a committee together for that, and making sure the right stuff was in there. And most importantly, we've heard before during COVID, 2020 was a terrible year. If you remember when COVID hit, the city went into lockdown, everyone in lockdown. We couldn't find masks, we couldn't find gloves, we couldn't find PPE. It was a joke. I remember on the phone on the weekend, I was sending Captain Pappas to Home Depots on hot leads of a mask and rubber gloves. This went on for weekend after weekend after weekend. Ken was at Home Depots picking up stuff to get to our officers. We actually could not get hand sanitizer, so we bought the raw ingredients from a chemical company in Troy, and Ken was in the basement and he made his own hand sanitizer. People think this is made up. This is real stuff. So Ken has done it all. He's a problem solver. He gets things done. When something's difficult and I need it done, I call Captain Pappas because I know it'll be done. It'll be done right and on time. All I can ever ask from an employee is for him to show up and get the job done, and Ken does that every single day. And with that, job well done. Thank you, Ken, and we have a video acceptance from Ken.
I'd like to thank the mayor, council, and city administration for allowing me this time at the council meeting to give thanks for being recognized as Command Officer of the Year. I'm sorry I couldn't be there tonight. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in sunny Florida, being forced to enjoy this beautiful weather. I would like to congratulate all of the other city employees being recognized tonight, especially Kristen Messing, Detective Matt Willard, and Officer Remy Restrate, who I have the pleasure of working with at the police department. I can attest that they are all very well deserving of this award for their hard work and dedication to the city and its citizens. I'd also like to thank all the other city employees and department directors who have helped me develop in my position and aided me in supporting the chief in his vision of providing the members of the Sterling Heights Police Department a great place to work. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my wonderful wife and children who have been supportive and tolerant of the late night phone calls and odd hours of work needed to fulfill the duties I have here at the police department. I am so grateful for their love and understanding along this journey. Lastly, I'd like to thank those who nominated me for this award, my secretarial staff, and the great men and women who I have the privilege to work with at the police department that go out every day and make Sterling Heights the great city that it is. The last few years have been fast-paced with a lot of changes and challenges, some not being synonymous with police work. The department has experienced unexpected flooding, major building renovations, the recent full-scale accreditation process, all while navigating the pandemic. I am honored and grateful to the chief for entrusting in me to handle these tasks. The great part about working for Chief Wojciechowski is that I know there are 100 more projects on his list, meaning there is no downtime in sight. That being said, I greatly look forward to what the future holds and am proud of what we have accomplished so far. I would again like to express my appreciation to everyone who was involved in the process and the city administration for always supporting the police department and giving us the tools necessary to be successful. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our Detective of the Year. This is a new category that we added a couple years ago. And with that, it's Detective Matt Willard. He looks a little different sitting there in the back. This is clean-shaven Matt Willard here. Matt has 15 years on with our department. Matt is currently assigned to the FBI Macomb County Violent Crime Task Force. And if you don't know about that, he is our officer, but we loan him out to the FBI. And he works on some of the most serious cases in the entire county and the entire state. They require in-depth investigative skills. Matt has handled complex murder cases, large violent gang crimes, and million-dollar fraud cases. I've personally seen him we convened with state prosecutors, FBI, DEA, ATF, working a Sterling Heights murder case. In the calm and collectiveness that Matt showed at that meeting really is a testament to who Matt is, a silent leader who knows exactly what he's doing, and he commands attention in that room. And I thank him for his service in those cases, those big cases. I've personally watched Matt work 60-plus hours in the weeks after the Oxford shooting. As part of the FBI task force, he had to follow up with all the dozens and dozens of copycat threats, if you remember. That was Matt and his FBI team going door to door to making sure no one else was going to commit an act of violence. And I thank him for all that work and all the hours he put into that. Matt also serves on the department's tactical team and is looked up to for advice and knowledge by our younger members of the team. Matt, thank you for your professionalism, humbleness, and energy you bring to work every single day. Every one of your coworkers would agree that you are a silent leader that puts mission first and is only concerned with solving the case and putting the bad guys behind bars. Thank you for your service, Matt.
Appreciate it. Very grateful to have my name on this plaque, but it's definitely a team effort. And if it wasn't for Sterling Heights and the support of the city and the chief for the task force that I'm a part of, and the hard work that all these people that I work with put in for that, some live in Sterling Heights, some don't, but it doesn't matter. We come together to get the job done, to get the bad guy off the street and make all our communities safe for Macomb County. So thank you very much.
And finally, our Civilian Employee of the Year, and that is Kristen Messing. Kristen's been with us since 2017. She currently serves as the department's Terminal Agency Coordinator, or TAC. We call her the TAC. The TAC's role is required by the FBI Criminal Justice Information System. Security policy. Kristen is responsible for ensuring agency compliance with policies and procedures of the FBI CJIS security policy and CJIS system-specific policy manuals. Or put in another way, she makes sure every employee of the police department is utilizing all local, state, and federal data systems appropriately, and that all members of the department are trained on the proper use of all systems. If this is not done, and officers, we have to take an annual test, our lean test, which gives us access to driver's license information, criminal records background. If we misuse those systems and don't comply with all policies, we lose our right to use those systems, and that is Kristen's job every single day. Pretty serious responsibility. This is what Kristen does, but it's not why she won this award. Kristen was nominated and selected because of the kind of person she is. Her nominating coworker put it best. Kristen is extremely dedicated to her job. Her work ethic is extraordinary. It is typical for her to leave last when she has a deadline to meet. When I was new, she always took the time to help and train me and to answer my million questions. She has the patience of a saint. She is kind and respectful to everyone she works with in the office and the public. I know I'm not alone in these sentiments. I am so blessed to have her as a coworker, and I could not have said it any better myself. On a side note, me and Kristen grew up on the same street in Sterling Heights. In high school together, we hung out together. I met my wife because Kristen was good friends with my wife, and she came out to hang out with Kristen. Kristen's sister is Sue G. Lombardo from Community Relations, so the kindness, niceness, hard work stuff obviously runs in the family. I'm blessed to say that I've known Kristen for a long time, and to have her as an employee in the building is truly a blessing. With that, our 2021 Civilian Employee of the Year, Kristen Messing.
Okay. I was told I wouldn't have to speak tonight, Sue. But thank you, Chief, and thank you to Captain Pappas for trusting me in this position. I love the job. I love working for the city. I have so much respect for the officers and the detectives that I work for, and they're the reason why I come into work every day and put the best effort forth possible. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Wojciechowski, and thank you to all of our department directors and supervisors for being here to present your departmental awards this year. Let's give one more round of applause and congratulations to all of our departmental award recipients this evening.
For the last segment of our employee awards ceremony, we move on to the recognition awards. It's important to note that each of these awards recipients were nominated by their coworkers and their friends. These individuals have proven to add value to the organization and city operations through their merit, hard work, and dedication. Let's invite Tammy Turgeon back up to present and announce the Part-Time Employee of the Year.
Thanks, Kate. I'm honored tonight to recognize Krista Gazar as the city's Part-Time Employee of the Year. Krista's been employed as a part-time librarian at the Sterling Heights Public Library since October of 2018. In this short time, she has become an integral leader of our library staff in serving the community of Sterling Heights. Krista comes to work every day with a positive attitude, and she's always ready for whatever is presented to her. She is also well respected by her coworkers. Krista meets every challenge with enthusiasm and professionalism. Her creativity has enabled her to lead many successful programs that are well attended, including Family Fun Time, Tween Craft Night, and Library Legos. She's also the creative mind behind our Fairies display case that's located in the entrance to the youth services area. Children and their caregivers love to see what the fairies are up to as the seasons change, and she just changed it, I think, yesterday, so come and see it. Krista does not hesitate to step up when needed and is always thinking outside the box to better serve our patrons. Her latest role has put her in the lead position of our newly created makerspace. In this position, she taught herself how to use our new 3D printers, created tip sheets for other staff and patrons, and has made this new space a welcoming environment for residents to come in and create using our Cricut machine, the 3D printers, and our sewing machine. She excels in this position and loves the challenge of taking new opportunities to the next level. Krista's dedication to serving library patrons is like no other. She's an amazing employee, and we're very fortunate to have her on our staff. Congratulations, Krista.
Next up, Melanie Davis will present and announce the award recipient for Outstanding Performance of the Year.
Thank you, Kate. I'm delighted to be able to present this year's Outstanding Performance of the Year award to Bob Surgott. My relationship with Bob actually started before my time here at the city. When I was heading up the Sterling Heights Regional Chamber, Bob and I regularly interacted at community events he was covering for SHTV. Even then, I could tell how much he loved what he does. He was always eager to get just the right shots and interviews to create outstanding news pieces and promotional videos that shine a positive light on all the great things that are happening in the city of Sterling Heights. Then when I came to the city, I gained an even deeper appreciation for what Bob brings to his job every day. Not only is he passionate about his craft, but he also has a passion for telling the story of our community. This was evidenced over the past year with the exceptional work he did on 3 different documentary-length pieces for the Sterling Heights Historical Commission, highlighting the rich heritage of our community. One of the commissioners praised his work, calling it a job administered with great care and patience. And many of the other commissioners also offered major kudos to Bob for his work on these projects that were very well received by residents. Over the past year, Bob has also worked diligently and patiently through the often tumultuous process of trying to find the very best national headline acts for Sterling Fest, in spite of a pandemic that created challenges, delays, reschedules, and even replacement events. Despite all the challenges over this past year, Bob has always remained one of the most enthusiastic people that I've had the joy of working with. But his love for the job transcends his own responsibilities. He's also deeply committed to his fellow employees serving as part of union leadership. And he's deeply committed to his community, supporting the cause of recovery this past year with the Sterling Heights Drug-Free Coalition, often on his own time. I think his colleague Dan Rizek summed it up best when he said, "Bob is the kind of employee that absolutely deserves recognition for the work he does, but most importantly, with or without recognition, Bob will continue to serve this great city with true dedication and enthusiasm." Because you know what? That's just the kind of person Bob is. And it's my pleasure to award this year's Outstanding Performance of the Year award to Bob Surgott.
Bob, I think as payback, you need to read that speech without actually reading it for all. That you
All right.
make me memorize speeches.
Right. Challenge accepted.
Just
All right,
speak from the heart.
I want to thank the mayor, city council, city manager, all the city administration. This really means a lot to me. What we do is Melanie didn't even see my speech, but she said some of my speech. I love telling the stories of Sterling Heights. It's a great community. Not every story in Metro Detroit, if it's bad, it makes the news. Not every good story makes the news, and that's why I love working here so much. Whether it be the stories of the past with the Historical Commission, the police department, when we have a family that lost everything to COVID, and the police department goes out of their way and supports that family and makes sure that family's all right. I love telling these stories. It's such a great community. Get to highlight this community, and it means everything. The Drug-Free Coalition, I love working with Mark Kashubsky and other staff members on that Drug-Free Coalition, just on the fact that, it's an addiction, it's tearing up our community, and we're trying to work to make it a better community. Everyone that's worked on Sterling Fest, whether it be Todd McCovis or Eric Roman, and all the other employees that make Sterling Fest happen, these concerts, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I couldn't do it without everyone. And most importantly, I got to thank the best department in my mind, which is community relations, led by Melanie Davis. And then you have Don, Sue, Marissa, Diane, Eric that come in every day, work as hard as me, work probably harder. And then most notably, you got to thank Dan Rizek. In my professional opinion, he's the best at what he does in the Midwest, easily, in cable access. And when I'm being a union steward or I'm being a concert promoter, he goes the extra level and he never complains once. He never says, "Why are you doing this? You need to give back to television." He just picks up the slack. And most importantly, I got to thank my family, my parents, my girlfriend that put up with the weird hours of working ZBA meetings, council meetings, and Sterling Fest. So thank you very much, and this means a lot.
We invite Frank Bayer to the podium to present and announce the Full-Time Employee of the Year.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, Council, Mr. Vanderpool, Mr. Kazupski. Part of the reason I returned back to work to the city of Sterling Heights was the knowledgeable and personal staff I had the pleasure of working with in the city development department. Choosing to stand out can be difficult, but Arwa is an extraordinary part of the clerical staff and a well-deserved recipient of this award. Over the past year, she has been instrumental in streamlining our work and introducing several new programs to our residents. One recent example is our expired permit program. This program is focusing on helping residents get their final inspections on expired permits. She assisted with the wording on the door tags so the residents could easily understand how to contact the city. She created the workflow that seamlessly connected the clerical staff, code enforcement, and the inspection staff. After all the details were finalized, she sat down with all the parties and trained them, and then was willing to answer questions during the rollout. When I come to Arwa with a new idea or an issue, she's excited to tackle the opportunity and immediately starts brainstorming solutions. She always looks for opportunities to improve efficiency and customer service with our department. It's a joy to work with a person who is happy and enthusiastic, willing to take the time to help anyone in the office, and who is motivated to go above and beyond what is asked of her. Arwa has a positive disposition and always seems to have a smile on her face. She truly cares about her coworkers. City development has improved greatly with her help, and we are very proud to have the Full-Time Employee of the Year in our department. Congratulations, Arwa.
Okay, and to cap off this year's Employee Awards ceremony, Mr. Vanderpool will also be announcing the 2021 Office/Department of the Year.
Thank you so much, Kate. I'm really honored to present the next two awards. First, I want to begin by thanking all the honorees this evening and those who nominated everyone. We really appreciate all of our peers taking time to recognize these great individuals. It's truly an honor for me as city manager to work side by side with these superstars every day. And I'm always learning from our employees. And I can say we really do have one of the most dedicated employee forces in the municipal business, I think nationwide. We're really lucky here. But we're not quite done yet. I do have the honor of recognizing our Administrator of the Year, and I think all of you will agree this individual is most deserving of this recognition. The city planner, Chris McLeod, is involved in every development project in the city, large and small, from single-family homes to mega redevelopment projects, some of which include Enterprise Drive, which used to be formerly Sunnybrook Golf Course, the multi-billion-dollar Sterling Heights Assembly Plant redevelopment, which has really been an amazing project, and the soon-to-be redeveloped Lakeside Mall area. Major city building projects, which have been significant, needless to say, over the past few years. Mixed-use developments across the city, many of them currently underway, some already done, and a big one coming on North Van Dyke. In each case, Chris ensures the prospective developments conform to the city's sign ordinance, landscaping ordinance, zoning ordinance, tree ordinance, and he coordinates development projects with numerous boards and commissions, the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Planning Commission, of course, the City Council. And when we look over just the past year, there have been 75 of these cases that Chris and his team had to coordinate with these various groups. They're very complex. It takes hours to prepare the cases, days, sometimes weeks. Sometimes the cases get postponed or there has to be more information and so on and so forth. It just is a very involved process. Mr. McLeod's work ethic is beyond commendable and frankly at times very concerning because he seems to work around the clock, as many of his subordinates can attest to, getting messages from Chris at all hours of the day and night. But I've always admired Chris's professionalism, his collaborative style, his ability to work with a wide variety of people, especially developers, and his unflappable demeanor. I've never seen him upset. I've tried to upset him. You can't upset him. It's impossible. He's a good person. It is a great honor for me to present Chris with the Administrator of the Year award. And while we insisted he spend some time with his family this week, he found some time to record the following video.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, Mr. Vanderpool. I wanted to thank all of you along with City Administration for this recognition. It truly is an honor. I would also like to thank my family, my wife Kobe and my son Max, for supporting me while I'm away from them at night meetings, working late at night at home, just generally distracted thinking about work, or listening to exciting planning talk like pointing out where I could have gotten another tree planted or where a parking lot could have been designed better. I'm so very lucky to have them both and love them incredibly. I would also like to thank Jason Castor, Community Development Director, along with Renee Rosny and Allison Bittner from the Planning Office, along with Teresa Jarzab and Sydney Aller from the CDBG side, for all the great work that they do on a daily basis and always keeping me in line saying, hey Chris, don't forget we have to get this or that done. I would also like to thank the city's legal team as well for all that they do. I am lucky to work with all three of our attorneys, and all three constantly go above and beyond, and in many instances even respond instantly to my notorious 2 a.m. emails, although I'm not sure what that says about them or their lives. I would also like to thank each one of the boards and commissions that I work with, the Planning Commission, the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Sustainability Commission. But in reality, I think the saying that you are only as good as those around you is really true in this case. The city and myself are incredibly lucky to have the staff that we do in the Community Development Department, including those people I just mentioned. The Community Development team, top to bottom, including everyone in the building, engineering, code enforcement, and planning departments, is second to none. I would put them up against any other municipality around. In all honesty, I just try to keep pace with all of them. They are truly the ones that should be given this award for all the great work that they have done, especially in the last year or two. They are the ones that make the department work as well as it does. So again, thank you for this and the opportunity to work for the city. It truly is a great honor and privilege. Thank you.
Okay, our last award for the night is the 2021 Office Department of the Year, in which Mr. Vanderpool will present.
Well, again, to close this out, it gives me a great honor to recognize the Department of the Year. I know everyone in the audience is, everyone at home watching the City Council, the mayor, all of us are relying on computer technology, including desktop computers, smartphones, tablets, laptops, iPads, smart TVs, just to name a few pieces of the technology we rely on for our jobs every day. Our police cars, our fire trucks, our snowplow trucks have all become high-tech mobile offices with an unbelievable amount of computer technology. Our city council, our boards and commissions all rely on high-tech equipment to perform their jobs, getting electronic packets instead of the old days when we used to get hundreds of pages of hard copy packets. Engineering now conduct site plan reviews electronically and receive digital plans from developers and homeowners and the like. And in fact, the building department now does virtual inspections, something we didn't do just a few years ago. Residents and businesses are now able to conduct most of their city business and transactions remotely from anywhere they can get a connection 24/7. The transition to this high-tech virtual world requires relentless behind-the-scenes work 24/7, 365 days out of the year. Not only do thousands of devices and pieces of equipment have to be maintained, upgraded, replaced regularly, but the systems have to withstand endless cyber attacks, which you're all very familiar with now. And we've been fortunate, knock on wood, that we haven't had any major problems there of recent. The people who make this happen truly are the city's unsung heroes. They work with every employee, every department, countless contractors and vendors, not to mention working with one another, collaborating, problem solving every single day. They can troubleshoot any issue and resolve issues within a matter of minutes. And many of us, I know the mayor and council have experienced this. When we have a problem at home and we're working on a city project, we call IT, and within a matter of seconds, they're mysteriously logged into our computer and take over and solve the problem within a matter of seconds. It's really amazing. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. They have no normal schedule. They work weekends, they work late hours, they work holidays. They literally work around the clock. They go about their work quietly. They don't want recognition, and they always strive to raise the bar. So it is my honor to recognize the IT department as the Department of the Year, and true to their style, they are not here this evening. But they have recorded this video that I think you'll enjoy.
It is my honor to accept the Department of the Year award on behalf of the Information Technology Department. First, I want to start by thanking City Administration for selecting the Information Technology Department. There are so many departments citywide that are deserving of the award. I would also like to thank City Council, the City Manager, and City Administration for the strong support they have always provided my team over the years. This award is all about teamwork. I have such an outstanding team of employees that I am privileged to work with on a daily basis. They make coming to work every day enjoyable. They are extremely dedicated employees who are often required to work late nights and weekends. They understand the importance of customer service and have excelled in providing outstanding service to all of the employees that make our city so great. Ken Patterson is a systems analyst and has been with the city over 25 years. Ken manages all of our infrastructure and applications. Stan Danielick is also a systems analyst and has been with the city over 22 years. Stan manages all of our communication infrastructure. Louis Gardella is an IT specialist and has been with the city over 6 years. Louis manages our public safety and security infrastructure and applications. And Sarah Mitchell is the Geographical Information Systems Coordinator and has been with the city over 2 years. Sarah manages all of our GIS infrastructure and applications. I would also like to acknowledge the purchasing and facility maintenance departments that provide support and assistance to information technology. Information technology moves at a rapid pace. We are always planning out 18 to 24 months in the future. We often forget to reflect back on past accomplishments or recently completed projects. This award is validation that the outstanding work we are doing is being recognized by our peers. This outstanding team is very deserving of this award, and again, I want to thank everyone involved with selecting the Information Technology Department as Department of the Year. Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause to all the recipients of both the departmental awards and recognition awards. As we conclude, we would like to thank you, Mayor Taylor, members of council, Mr. Koszybski and Mr. Vanderpool, for your time and your continued support. I'd also like to thank the community relations team each and every year for making this event a success and a lot of fun. Thank you to your entire team and all of the hard work that they put into this.
Thanks so much, Kate. Congratulations once again to all of the awards recipients tonight. Council members, if you could please join us down in front for a group photo with all of our award recipients, and that will conclude tonight's presentation. Thank you. If all the award winners can come up here, and we're going to get a nice group shot. Thanks.
He told me. Yeah, you want us behind? Yeah, we can get behind. It's better than we. Oh, yeah. Like a boy band. Thank you.
I didn't know you were getting
I didn't know.
Probably have apples kind of on that side. Probably should. Yeah, like let's have, like, call people in the back, obviously. So Kristen, you're not going to be in the back. Steven's this way. Kristen.
How about this?
Should we?
How about this? Why don't I take a recess?
Okay.
And then we'll go on.
Okay, let's do that. I'm like, I don't know how we're going to fit it.
All right, without any objection, we're going to take a recess so that we can go outside and take a group photo. We'll be back in 5 or 10 minutes, so we'll stand in recess. This meeting back to order, and council, we do have a suggested action to congratulate all of the award recipients. Who'd like to make that motion?
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Zarko.
resolve to congratulate and thank all of the employees recognized for years of service and outstanding performance in 2021.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, council? Well, I'll just say on behalf of the entire city council and all the residents of the city of Sterling Heights, we want to thank all the employees that won an award tonight for their hard work and dedication to the city, and thank really all the city employees, the hundreds and hundreds of full-time and part-time employees that make Sterling Heights a great place to live and work. You know, I oftentimes hear, not just from people who live in the city of Sterling Heights, but business owners in Sterling Heights, developers that come into the city of Sterling Heights, people from all around the area that say, your fire department, your police department, your city development department, your planning department, your planning commission, your zoning people, they all are exceptional, and we're really blessed and lucky to have them. I know all 7 of us up here are thankful for the employees that make this city the great city that it is. So without any further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item on our agenda tonight is the consent agenda with the omission of item Q. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on any item on tonight's consent agenda? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski.
move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Support.
Been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item on our agenda tonight is a consideration item, and this is to consider approval of a memorandum of understanding between the city of Sterling Heights and the MAPE professional and technical employees. We have a presentation from our city manager, Mark Vanderpool. Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. With the mid-year amendment to the fiscal year 2022 appropriations ordinance, the city council funded a new job classification within the community relations department. The marketing and communications coordinator job classification addresses a long-term departmental need for an employee with talent and experience to lead efforts to brand, market, and effectively communicate the myriad of initiatives and programs that have made Sterling Heights a municipal leader. The city has an incredible number of positive stories to tell, but has not had the capacity to capitalize on all of these marketing and communication opportunities presented. The communications coordinator position is intended to, and I'll just highlight a few of the assignments, but it's certainly not inclusive. Collaborate and provide support to various departments to fully understand operations, communication, marketing, and branding needs. Research and gather information necessary to provide expertise to city departments to help develop strategic goals toward branding, communication, and marketing. Research and provide expert advice, support, and planning for high-profile marketing initiatives, programs, and projects related to community trends and economic development opportunities, which are always endless. Assist in the overall development of a social media strategy for the city as a whole, as well as various departments. Research trends in web design and print publications and collaborate with departments to ensure the city's website and city magazine follow best practice standards. Collaborate with broadcast services to write and/or host news and marketing segments for websites, social media, and other platforms. In order to create the marketing and communications coordinator job classification, the city was required to negotiate with the MAPE Professional Technical Employees Union. These negotiations produced the memorandum of understanding, which is before the mayor and council this evening, which has been approved by the bargaining unit. And I wanted to highlight, just in conclusion, the need for this position by way of numbers. When we think back to the Great Recession, we had to go through significant cuts across the board, and the Community Relations Department really experienced significant position losses. In fiscal year 09, at the height of the Great Recession, there were 14 full-time positions in community relations and 5 part-time positions. Even with this position tonight in the fiscal year 23 budget, there will be 8 full-time positions and 2 part-time. So still 60% below where the Community Relations Department was back at its peak before the Great Recession. So while this is a a small step with respect to that staffing. It nonetheless is a very important step. So with all that in mind, I respectfully request the mayor and city council approve the applicable MOU this evening, and I'm happy to address any questions you may have.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Vanderpool. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Zarko.
Resolved to approve the memorandum of understanding between the City of Sterling Heights and the MAPE professional and technical employees, recreating the marketing and communications coordinator job classification, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign it on behalf of the city.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mrs. Zarko?
I think Mr. Vanderpool explained it very well, and I have to agree with him. That was one of the departments that were really gutted back in 2009, and we need to start adding more people in that, back into that department.
Council, anyone else? With no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the consideration item. It was originally item Q from the consent agenda, and this is to adopt a resolution on behalf of Sterling Heights businesses and residents objecting to increased water and sewer rates created by Highland Park's refusal to pay for water and sewerage services rendered by the Great Lakes Water Authority. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? If not, Mr. Koszubski, actually, do you have any presentation you want to make on this?
I did not prepare one. I didn't know we
Okay.
would be pulling it today.
We'll ask you questions potentially, and
Sure.
you can answer them or not.
Happy to help.
Okay, so nobody in the audience, and council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Schmidt.
Resolved to adopt the resolution on behalf of Sterling Heights businesses and residents objecting to the increased water and sewer rates created by Highland Park's refusal to pay for water and sewerage services rendered by the Great Lakes Water Authority for the past 10 years, and as of July 1st, 2022, authorize the withholding of payments equal to the city's proportionate share of Highland Park's bad debt.
Support.
Been moved and supported by a number of people. Unanimous support.
Yeah.
Mrs. Schmidt.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. I would first off like to thank my colleagues for agreeing to having this resolution put together by administration. If you would humor me, I would like to read it so that the residents know exactly what this is saying. The resolution says, whereas the city of Sterling Heights is one of over 100 customers purchasing potable water from the Great Lakes Water Authority, whereas in 2012, the state of Michigan requested that the Detroit Water and Sewerage Department, predecessor to the Great Lakes Water Authority, provide an emergency water supply to the city of Highland Park on a short-term basis because the state of Michigan determined that Highland Park's water treatment plant was creating a public health risk to its residents. Whereas on November 12, 2012, the state of Michigan represented that the repairs to Highland Park's water treatment plant were to be completed in 3 to 4 days. Whereas Highland Park was responsible to pay for the emergency water supply received from DWSD, but has paid less than 1% of the water commodity charges since 2012. Whereas Highland Park has failed to effectuate and the state of Michigan has not compelled repairs to the water treatment plant to this date. Whereas the failure of Highland Park to pay for the water supply delivered to the GLWA has purportedly created a material bad debt which is passed on as a system-wide charge paid by the customers of the GLWA, including the city of Sterling Heights. Whereas as of March 31st, 2022, the estimated Highland Park arrearage for unpaid water and sewer services supplied by GLWA will exceed $54 million. It is estimated to grow to $62.9 million by June 30th, 2023. Whereas of the $54 million bad debt allocated to GLWA's system customers, the city of Sterling Heights share equates to $2,322,590 and will grow to $2,060,000
$667,200 by June 20th, 2023. Now therefore, be it resolved that the City of Sterling Heights, for and on behalf all of its businesses and residents object to the increased water and sewer rates created by Highland Park refusal to pay for water and sewerage services rendered by the GLWA and demand action by the state of Michigan to hold ratepayers harmless from the financial burden created by its action in 2012 and bring this inequitable situation to immediate conclusion. Be it further resolved that the City of Sterling Heights, beginning July 1st, 2022, shall suspend payments to GLWA and the County of Macomb in the amounts equal to the bad debt of Highland Park, being wrongfully allocated to the City of Sterling Heights until such time as a resolution is received, or is reached. So the reason why I wanted to read that was it's pretty, the numbers are staggering. And I know that when this all started, Mr. Baker was our finance director, and he did mention it. And I think those of us that were on council at the time made mention how outraged we were that this was going to continue to happen and how our ratepayers should not be responsible for this debt. And it just never went away. And I think now I'm glad to see the county's on board and more communities are on board. And now the state just needs to do something about this debt because I can't just stop paying my bills, and nor should Highland Park. So I appreciate this, and Mr. Vanderpool or Mr. Kaczynski, if you do have any updates, I would appreciate through the chair, if you could give us those at this point. And I apologize for not letting you know.
No problem.
Mr. Kaczynski.
I can give you some updates as to where the pending litigation is now. So GLWA has taken a lot of steps to try to get Highland Park to move off of its position. The case has gone up, and really it's the courts that have been allowing this to happen. It's been going up and down to the Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court, Court of Claims, back down. And there's no resolution in sight at the moment. There's another appeal from a ruling that just happened last month. And that appeals back up to the Court of Appeals. So briefing is scheduled to be completed this month, and there should be a decision, within 6 months you would expect. So the lawsuits are going in that direction. I know that the county and GLWA is looking to the communities to start putting some pressure on Highland Park and the state, and that's what this does. That's why this resolution is so important. So I'm happy that we're able to move forward with this resolution tonight.
In closing, I just want to say that, over and over again, the residents of Sterling Heights are donors to the state, the feds. We seem to just donate to everybody, and I'm tired of it, and hopefully they can come up with some resolve quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. Council, anyone else? Mrs. Zarko.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. So, through the chair to Mr. Kaczynski. When we talk about this debt that Highland Park has, actually, we're paying their debt. It's not like that's still going to be outstanding money. That money is being paid by the other communities in the system, correct?
Mr. Kaczynski.
Correct.
Okay. First of all, we all know that we are fiscally sound as far as running, the city. We watch our water rates. We keep them low. We make sure that, we make it easier, I think, to live in Sterling Heights and other communities when it comes to water rates and other amenities. But is there any talk of, in moving forward, that Highland Park starts paying their fair share and will worry about being reimbursed for the debt later? Is there any talk that right now every community stops paying, they pick up the slack, and we'll talk about the $54 million later?
Mr. Kaczynski.
Not at the moment. Highland Park is taking the position they owe no money to the GLWA or to the city of Detroit.
Well, maybe we should too. I mean, if it's good for one community, it's got to be good for another. So if they don't feel that they owe money for water, why should we owe money for water? We want the same privilege that they have. I mean, I don't misunderstand me. I want everybody to have good drinking water. It makes us, it's healthy. I understand that even our drinking water is one of the 10 best in the country. I understand all that, but we're actually supporting another community. And we do it in a lot of other ways as well. But I think that I think we do have to start talking to other communities and putting some pressure on the Great Lakes Water Authority and the city of Highland Park. And I think that's all I have to say right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Zarko. Anyone else? Mr. Radke?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just briefly, because my colleagues have really hit the nail on the head. Right now, we are subsidizing a decision by the state. But just to make it very clear to the people at home, through the chair to Mr. Koszubski, the GLWA essentially functions as a cooperative. We cooperatively purchase water, 100 communities, to get the best deal. Is that correct, Mr. Koszubski?
Mr. Koszubski?
That is correct.
And because we're part of the cooperative, when one member does not pay or has a trouble paying, the charges for water, water is already being used, so the charge is there. The debt is then spread proportionally by population across all the customers, am I correct?
Mr. Koszubski?
That is correct.
Okay. And right now, Highland Park, their legal position is that because of a judge's ruling and a previous court case and some stuff that happened in the 80s, that they don't owe any money for water, for the water that's already been used since 2012. Is that correct, Mr. Koszubski?
That is the position they're taking. They're taking the position they've already paid their proportionate amount based on an old agreement going back to the 1980s.
Okay. So that's kind of where it stands. It's not that Highland Park wants to pay going forward, or they feel like they've not paid. Now, I think that that's insane. But it's right now is what we're facing. I am for holding this money in abeyance until we hopefully get a resolution from the state. I think a resolution here is going to come from the state. The current comments to the papers from Highland Park City Manager, the City Council, are frankly insane. The idea that they're going to raise $90 million to reopen a water plant that's been broken down for 10 years in a 10,000 person community does not make fiscal or common sense to me. I think that at this point, the debt's probably bad, but it's a matter of trying to resolve it so it doesn't continue into the future. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but I feel like I doubt that we're going to not end up paying this money. I mean, if we put it in escrow, eventually someone's going to come looking for it because Highland Park can't pay. So the only other person who can come in and pay, in my opinion, is the state. Either we pay or the state pays. But this can't continue going forward. I think this is a good first step in trying to resolve this. I think it's a crisis right now that the state has created in the GLWA. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Council, anyone else?
Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Koski?
Through the chair to Mr. Koszubski, would you please clarify something for me? I was under the impression that the residents of Highland Park are actually paying their water bills, but that money is being held in escrow and not paid to the Great Lakes Water Authority. Is that correct?
I have not been able to confirm that, Ms. Koski. My understanding is that they are paying something for their water rates to the city, and the city is looking to reopen their water treatment plant. I'm not sure if that money is being earmarked for that or not.
The question is, what is the city doing with the money? Is it just sitting there gathering interest, or are they investing it, or just pretending it's not there?
I don't have an answer to that question. I'm sorry. I can find out for you. I can try.
I'd be curious to know. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mrs. Sarowski?
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. So playing devil's advocate and piggybacking off of Mrs. Koski's question to Mr. Koszubski, through the mayor to Mr. Koszubski. If they have been paying their water bills, and this is a legal question, so I have to ask Mr. Koszubski this. If they have been paying their water bills, the residents of Highland Park, and the money has not been earmarked for the water, and it has been spent somewhere else, what is our legal position, or what can we do? What can be done about that? Mr. Koszubski.
Well, normally I don't like to talk about legal strategy with potentially a pending case that could be happening.
Okay,
So I
true.
prefer not to.
Fair enough, I see that, yes. Okay, so I guess because I'm asking you to litigate something that can't be litigated quite yet. Okay, but that certainly can be another issue that we would have to pursue. Okay. All right, just curious. Thank you. I don't have any other questions at this time, thank you.
Okay, well, I've said a lot on this topic already, so I'll try not to say it all over again. It's a matter of fundamental fairness. I cannot understand why somebody at the state of Michigan won't step up, recognize what's happening here, recognize that you've got this 1996 or 1980-something agreement between Highland Park and God knows who, that they're going to pay a certain amount for water, and now they're hooked onto the city of Detroit and then GLWA on an emergency basis, and they just refuse, flat out refuse. Look, you can say they got off on a technicality at this circuit court case in Wayne County, which might be the case. You can say they can rely on this agreement from 30 or 40 years ago. But what nobody can deny, not the mayor of Highland Park, not the city manager of Highland Park, not a single resident of Highland Park, is that they are screwing us over and they don't care. And it has to stop. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, how long are you going to take advantage of your neighbors and the communities around you? How long are you going to take without giving? And if that's the type of people that you are, shame on you. You ought to do the right thing. You ought to look yourself in the mirror, look at all these people that you're taking advantage of, millions of people around Metro Detroit. And Governor Whitmer, you ought to look in the mirror too and say, enough is enough. You have to put a stop to this because we can't go on year after year after year, and we're not. So to Mrs. Zarko, to your point, we're not. We're done. The payments are done. But the problem is it's only going to impact the GLWA. It's only going to hurt the GLWA, which is us. So maybe if the GLWA feels enough pain, then they can start pressuring the governor. The governor has an appointee on the GLWA board, and I don't know why that person isn't in her office every single day talking about this issue. I cannot, for the life of me, understand how this is happening in broad daylight with nobody doing anything about it. It's a failure of the court system. It's a failure of government, and it's got to stop. So whatever we can do, we're committed to doing it, and that's all I got. So without any further discussion, council, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. That concludes that portion of our agenda, so now we will move on to communications from citizens. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on any item not on tonight's agenda? We'll start with you, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor, Council. I'm here tonight to, that was a pretty good speech you just made, and it's probably a good segue into what I want to talk about. We recently passed Ordinance 480. I'm not done with it. Back in 2014, the same exact, except for a number of the ordinances, same exact petition, and the ordinances were exactly the same. One was 435 and one was 480. They were exactly the same. At the top of every one of the petitions that were turned in successfully was a referendum petition. And I want to make sure this is written right. Take up my time. Definition of referendum is the principle of practice of submitting to popular vote a measure passed on or proposed by a legislative body or by popular initiative. The interpretation when that happened back in 2014 was incorrect because it said you had two things you could do. And I even saw some of the minutes that said putting it on the ballot was one of them to look at. You didn't do that. So therefore, that ordinance, okay, can't be brought back if you don't change it. If you wanted to bring and change that ordinance, then it can't be brought back. So that ordinance is sitting there all by itself, then you go and you put it back on. The other thing that I have is I have the official minutes from June 17th of 2014. You weren't here yet. So, 2014, all of them say unofficial minutes. Up to June 17th, 2014, they were all official minutes. June 17th, and then the other ones were still unofficial minutes. Sorry, but when I see unofficial minutes, it means that changes must have been made. How do we know that that's what would happen? You'd probably be able to answer that. You wrote the thing. You need to relook at it, because there's a group of us looking at it, not to go and get any signatures or anything like that, but we are looking at the legal part of this, and we are working with legal. So, thank you very much.
All right, Ken, thank you. Anyone else? Sir, Mr. Ochada?
Hi, Council. Hope you've all been well. It's good to be here again. I had two things I was hoping to discuss. One is the intersection of Mandale and Amsterdam on the south end of Sterling Heights. Somebody plowed through the street sign there again. If I could have a street sign back, please, it'd look nice. Yeah, that's about it for that. Secondly, with regards to what the prior citizen had mentioned, I again thank you for having passed that resolution. It means a lot to this community. It means a lot to myself, to members of my family, to many of my friends, and I appreciate you having the courage and resilience and conviction to stand up for the rights of those who have been marginalized for decades. So thank you again, and have a great rest of your evening.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Anyone else under communications? Ms. Wright?
Good evening, City Council and Mayor. I just wanted to briefly talk about the city tree program. I finally convinced my husband to let us get a city tree by promising to rake the leaves for the next 20 years. And so I called the city the other week, and literally within 3 hours, the city's arborist was at our house making sure that we could get that tree put in. And he was telling me how we have hundreds of grant trees this year. And he really went out of his way to try and we want a specific tree, and he really tried to get us one of those grant trees. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to pay, but he even told us to hold off until May so we can get that discount as well. So I just wanted to say to anyone out there who's interested, there are some grant trees available. If you don't mind picking, not being able to pick your tree, you can get maybe a free tree this year. And then also just say thanks to the department and I think, was it Corey? I forget the arborist's name, but just how fast he came out and really tried to help us and did a great job. Thank you.
Anyone else? Not, we'll close that portion and go on to reports from city administration. Anything tonight, Mr. Vanderpool?
Mayor, we will check the street sign on Mandale and Amsterdam, make sure we get that reinstalled quickly. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Krzyzewski, the one item for closed session tonight?
Yes, Mayor, thank you.
Okay, council, new business or reports? I would entertain a motion to adjourn into closed session.
So moved, support.
It's been moved and supported. Can we please have a roll call, Ms. Riska?
Ms. Radke?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. Ms. Roski?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Brianna?
Yes.
Miracle?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 7-0. We will adjourn into closed session. We will not be returning tonight, so this meeting is otherwise adjourned. Thank you for coming out tonight.